Hey buddy, it's Crazy Guitar 4 and welcome back to some more Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS. In the last one, we went to Classic Mode, of course, as another DLC fighter. That time around being Cloud. Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. Yes, so he was in the game, yada yada. We played as him. This time around, though, we're going to be heading through Classic Mode as the main protagonist. Similar to how Robin works in Fire Emblem Awakening, we've got the main protagonist of Fire Emblem Fates, Corrin, which, as you could probably imagine, has a female alt skin. So, before we get started, of course, let's go ahead and check out Corrin's alternate costumes. So we have the standard male and female looks, that the ones you basically are how you look like in Fire Emblem Fates, depending on who you pick. We've got a red outfit which resembles Saizo, the elder twin of the retainer Kaze from Fire Emblem Fates. We've got a orange one, an orange one for the girl, and a blue one for the male, which seem to be Smash Originals from what I can tell. We've got a pink one for the girl, which resembles the overworld sprites of Vala-aligned units from Fire Emblem Fates, as well as the flames emitted by Omega Yado. We've got a green one for the boy, resembles the overworld sprites of allied units in the Fire Emblem games, and finally, a black one for the girl, which resembles her appearance as a noir noble in Fire Emblem Fates. So yeah, there we go. We're of course going to be going in as a standard Corrin look, the male white Corrin. Let's do it. Let's see how this goes. So Corrin, I mean, like, what is there to say about Corrin, about this character? You know, it was definitely unexpected when they brought Corrin into Smash. Not many people were like, oh wow, this is absolutely insane. Well, no, it was pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't as hype of a reveal, obviously, as like it was for, like, let's say Cloud or Ryu, or even like the last character that we're gonna be talking about in the next episodes. But it was still interesting. I know some people did enjoy Corrin's inclusion, especially people that had experience with Fire Emblem Fates in Japan, with the Japanese version of the game, where Corrin, before actually getting the name Corrin, was called Kamui. So that's what a lot of people called them. I know Etika, may his soul rest in peace. He called him Kamui. He was like, oh my gosh, it's Kamui! It was pretty cool. A little reveal, at least for him. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's the main protagonist of Fire Emblem Fates. Obviously, the main customizable protagonist, the one you can, like, switch the gender of. And yeah, so that's about that. Nothing really too crazy to talk about. I guess one thing I should talk about is that compared to, like, Robin, for example, Corrin is a lot more of a sword-based character that also can transform into a dragon, and is also barefoot. So, like, there's a lot that's a little bit interesting about Corrin, that's for sure. Let me see if I can show this off. Yeah, so that's its counter, which is really freaking cool of a counter, I'm not gonna lie. No way! Okay, I thought I was gonna die from that, I was about to say. So when Corrin actually does, like, his counter, they have the dragon mask on, which is really freaking cool. I know there's, like, a whole thing about Corrin and, like, that, you know, dragon changing thing in the actual game. But it's a little weird. I don't know the specifics of it. I forgot, honestly. I have played a bit of Fire Emblem Fates, but it's a little strange. It's not a little bit strange. It's just not something I remember fully right now. But yeah, so just saying, Corrin does have that functionality. But yeah, so, and also Corrin can transform their hand into, like, claws or, like, dragon type mouths, which is cool. Get wings in her back. Yeah, Corrin's, like, basically part human, part dragon, and I got nothing from that match, so that's great. But I guess let's just get started with Corrin. Kind of similar to, like, how some Fire Emblem characters have different hitboxes, or, like, different strengths to their hitboxes. Corrin, I think, works best if you hit with the tip of their attacks. I'm gonna say his just because I'm playing as the male. If you hit with the tip of Corrin's attacks, it will do more damage than if you were to hit with the, like, the rest of, like, the sword or whatever. The sword itself is also like a chainsaw, so you can, like, kind of charge up like the final smash, for example. Not the final smash, the forward smash, and it will do, like, chainsaw damage, like multi-hits. It's really cool. Really cool function they added to that. But yeah, he's got like the main sword, the chainsaw sword, as well as the claw spear that he has, the arm spear. So that's pretty cool. But we used it a few times, but the neutral special, which we'll go over real quick, that is the Dragon Fang Shot, where Corrin's left hand transforms into a dragon's mouth and fires a ball of water. If that ball of water hits an opponent, it will temporarily paralyze them, in addition to sending them back. After the projectile is fired, Corrin's dragon hand will bite before reverting to normal, hitting nearby opponents. The projectile can be charged to cause more damage and knockback to increase stun damage, stun duration. The special button can be also pressed after the firing to charge the bite. When fully charged, Corrin clamps down forcefully with the dragon mouth, causing very high damage knockback. Because of the move's utility in the projectile, it is considered one of the secondary components of Corrin's neutral game. So it's really interesting how the move works. You can like kind of do like a bunch of different combinations with the initial water shot as well as the dragon the bite attack. Freaking yell! Oh my gosh, trying to do like a 3-player match on this stage is stupid. Now he's got that, so that's fun. But yeah, you can do like a really, I don't know, you can do a lot with it. You can charge up like a full blast with the projectile and then do a full chomp with the mouth. You can also do like a very small blast and still go for like the full chomp with the mouth, or do a very big blast with the fully charged blast with the projectile, but then do a small chomp with the mouth. So there's a lot you can kind of do with the attack, which I find really cool. There's a lot of different things you can do with the attack, which I think is really nice. There's a lot of different methods, I guess, you can do with like performing the attack, what combination you want to go for. So it's really good. Again, like I mentioned, the it's like almost essential for like Corrin's neutral game as well. So yeah, I guess we can go over the secondary special, the side special real quick. We show it off a few times. That is the Dragon Lunge, where, when initiated, Corrin, when used on the ground specifically, Corrin hops a short distance into the air, and when used in the air, Corrin transforms an arm into a spear and strikes diagonally downward. If it hits any terrain during the move, as you saw from there, Corrin's arm will remain there, pinning any opponent caught in place. From there, it can be cancelled into either a kick or to either side, which deals some pretty good knockback, or a jump. It can also be cancelled entirely, which can be useful for reading the opponent's floor recovery. The tip itself does deal really good high knockback, and the move is considered to be a vital part of Corrin's excellent neutral game. What is it? Due to various reasons, as it can be used to pin himself down onto the floor immediately after hopping, if used quickly enough, making it nigh impossible to punish out of shields, even when power shielded. And the spear itself also has really long range, which has, I avoided that somehow, which makes it a viable approach option for opponents. And of course, the kick itself is also really good at damage and knockback. Like, look at this. That's really good knockback. So there's a lot you can do with the attack. It's a very, very useful move in Corrin's arsenal, absolutely. One of the ones that like you should really try and learn how to use properly, because it will be like almost detrimental to like properly like using Corrin in the match. Of course, he gets that. Does he get out here? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. But yeah, the fact that it can like has the range, it has the high damage knockback with the tip of the spear. It can trap opponents that are like anywhere, you know, in that vicinity, as long as Corrin like actually jams it into the ground or like a wall or something. And the fact that you can cancel it as well, there's a lot to it that makes it a really, really good move for Corrin to use. But now of that, let's go and check out Corrin's up special, which is called the Draconic Ascent, where Corrin, well, he grows wings and launches forward in more of like a diagonal direction than like a more vertical direction as some other recoveries. The attack, when Corrin does launch upwards, does multiple hits with one final hit sending the opponent away. Actually is pretty decent as a KO option, especially at higher percentages, as Corrin players can actually use that very frequently to kill off their opponents very easily. And like also can be used very well on the ground itself, and like launches the opponents into the air yeah, I can't speak properly, and obviously will kill them very easily too, especially with like knee fighters or whatever. Yeah, the Draconic Ascent is a very solid move in Corrin's arsenal. Can be angled by approximately 45 degrees, and it's similar to Roy's Blazer move, which is his up special. So it deals enough knockback to actually KO at 140, and gives Corrin a fair amount of momentum when angled, but it covers a relatively short distance overall as a recovery move. So, not that bad of a move though. Pretty decent. Not like a crazy good recovery, but kind of like similar to Roy's, if anything. It has like a decent amount of range to it as well. But yeah, so that's it. That's it for the up special. And finally, we showed it off earlier, the down special, which is of course the counter surge, where Corrin uses a counter motion, and when hit, Corrin transforms into a dragon using Dragon Fang and slams into the ground. A surge of water then erupts from on the ground from both sides of Corrin, launching opponents upwards. So this is one of those counters, actually one of the most interesting counters in the game, where it actually hits from both sides of Corrin rather than typically hitting in front of the character like some other counters do. It is one of the strongest counterattacks in the game, launching opponents at a very high angle, and has become infamous for KOing opponents at very low percentages near the top blast line. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting how counter surge works. I actually never knew that Corrin's counter was one of the best in the game, which is actually insane to me to really think about. Well, it's one of the strongest. Is it one of the best technically? I don't know. That could be up for debates. There's some really good ones that you can argue are like better than Corrin's. Like Shulk's, for example, is absolutely insane. And then like, yeah, there are some other ones that could be argued as like better options than Corrin's. But Corrin's is still really good, especially with that high, with it just being such a strong attack, such a strong counter compared to others. It has a 1.2 times damage multiplier, doing a minimum of 10% and a maximum of 50%. Typically, these counters tend to do like around 20 to 30% on average, but the fact that this one can do a max of 50 is absolutely insane. That's actually insane. It's a really good counter though, and the fact that it covers a lot of like distance too, and a lot of like even like above Corrin, it covers a lot of range as well. So, like, look at that. That's insane. That's a really good counter that he has. Oh, nice. I somehow avoided that. Okay, he's got a good load of intangibility to that as well. Look at that. Oh shoot! Run, Corrin! Oh come on! Why do I keep missing? That's so stupid. Okay. There we go. Got the counter kill on Master Hand. Oh, sorry. Yeah, technically Master Hand. Yeah. Master Corrin. But I mean, that's Corrin. It's a very unique character to say the least. Definitely not like your typical Fire Emblem character within the game, which is pretty nice. At least like we got something different than like just your standard sword fighter. You know what I'm saying? There's like Corrin is by far one of the, I don't want to keep saying unique, but it is one of the most unique characters of in Smash, especially like when it comes to sword fighters themselves. I mean, Robin was like really cool and different from the beginning, especially when he was like it's a sword fighter. It's also a magic user, but then Corrin came along and kind of also changed the game to change the playing field as well. So you know. It's kind of cool to see like these new types of swordsmen come into Smash, which is really nice. Yeah, I mean like that's basically about it with Corrin. One thing I know that Smash Wiki mentions is that it's kind of similar to Marth. Corrin does rely a bit on what's it called? Oh, that's not gonna work, is it? Hold up, let me try doing this. Let me do neutral. Boom! There we go! Okay. Corrin does rely a lot on spacing, which could be a little bit of a detriment to like how he works, but like even then, Corrin's still like a really good character. He's like B tier in the game right now, like number 13 or 14 on the tier list. Also, that's a really good score. I was surprised he did a lot better than I anticipated. Maybe it was all those counters that I was doing, I don't know. But yeah, that's Corrin. Pretty fun character. Very, very enjoyable. Okay, Corrin, let's get your credits rolling. So yeah, Corrin kind of has, I wanted to mention, like, a really interesting neutral air that also does, like, a hell of a lot of range, kind of like Cloud's. Covers a lot of distance. I like these neutral airs that just cover a huge amount of distance, because they're just, like, such good approach options, and just, like, being able to, like, hit your opponent from, like, anywhere. Very, very useful, I personally think. I know Ike is very well known for like using the neutral air a lot as well, especially in Smash Ultimate. So yeah, but yeah, Corrin. I mean, like, Corrin's fun. You know, I do enjoy using Corrin from time to time. You're not really one of my more preferred characters, right? Especially when it comes to Fire Emblem. But I still do enjoy Corrin as a character. I really, really do. I think it's a really I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what else there really is for me to say that won't keep me sounding like saying the exact same thing over and over again. But I do enjoy how Corrin works. I do enjoy how different of a character Corrin is, especially to a lot of sword fighters in the game. And yeah, I mean, like, that's all I can really say without saying the same thing over and over again. But yeah, I do like the picture in the back though. Kind of like having I don't know if that's possible to even do. Maybe no, because then like it looks like the male Corrin is in like the front in its human form, and then probably like the female Corrin, the regular version, the female one, is like in the back being the dragon form. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, the fact that he can just transform into a dragon is like insane. That's actually insane. Never really anticipate that, but yeah. Again, I forget exactly what the backstory behind Corrin is in the games. I forget if, like, there's, like, some sort of, like, dragon blood inside Corrin. I don't know. I haven't played Fates in a while. I played a good amount of it when I did, like, start playing it, but, like, I then, like, stopped, and it's just been a huge amount of time since I last went back into the game. I need to go back into it, though. I think it's a really good game. I really did enjoy what I did play of it, so I gotta get back into it for sure. But yeah, that's it for Classic Mode with Corrin. Let's go ahead and get into Training Mode real quick. And check out their Final Smash and Taunts. And see what that's all about. So, first off, we got the Taunts, of course. We're going to start off with the Up Taunt. The Up Taunt being... My path is clear while leaning backwards, putting on the Dragon Mask, or turning, you know, himself into a dragon. And the female Corrin actually says, "Let's do this." Which is pretty interesting. It's actually based on an animation before performing the critical version of the Dragon Fang skill in Fire Emblem Fates. We've got the side taunt. I've made my choice while swinging around the sword. While the female Corrin says, "Your fate is clear," based on their animation when activating a skill in Fire Emblem Fates. And finally, the down taunt. "Are you ready?" he says while twirling this sword around, which is called the Omega Yado, that's the name of the sword, and placing it on its tip on the ground, saying, "Are you ready?" While the female Corrin says, "You ready for this?" based on female Corrin's victory animation in Fire Emblem Fates. So yeah, there we go, that's all the taunts. And now finally, the final smash, this one being called Torrential Roar. And there's the attack. So, Corrin has these two big spikes that are kind of similar to his counter that show up right beside him. Can hit anyone that's in there, so either in front of him or behind him, which is really freaking cool. And they are transported to a rocky mountain scene in a similar case as to Captain Falcon's Blue Falcon. And then Corrin, of course, transforms into the dragon form and unleashes a whirlpool that traps all the fighters before launching them, and then going back to the standard stage. So it's not really like a super strong attack, super strong final smash, but it's a pretty cool one, very nice one to look at, that's for sure. And yeah, so it's just one that he has. It's a nice one, I guess. Mainly just a more cinematic one. Not really one of my personal favorites in terms of like functionability, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so that's about that. Nothing really else to say. Let's check out Corrin, his trophy. Corrin joins the battle from Fire Emblem Fates. Born in Hoshido, but kidnapped by Noir at a young age, Corrin was brought up by Noirian royalty. Noirian, yeah. Descended from the first dragons, Corrin has the power to transform into a dragon. In Smash, Corrin can change parts of the body into lance, like hands, and feet that have a long reach and that deal more damage at the tips. So that's what he's a descendant, or they're a descendant from the first dragons, and that's how they're able to transform into the dragon form. Interesting. Okay, well, that's a little bit of backstory if you're curious. But yeah, so that's it for today's episode of Super Smash Bros. 4 to 3DS, Super Smash Bros. 4. Thank you all so much for watching. In the next one, we're going to be heading through Classic Mode as, get ready for this. One more character is remaining. The final character of the game, we're going to be heading through Classic Mode as another DLC fighter. The final character revealed for Smash 4, that being Bayonetta. From the witch, I don't know what Bayonetta. She's a witch. That's all I can say. She's a witch from the Bayonetta series, and yeah, we're gonna play as her next time. So stay tuned for that one. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Social media, including the Twitch, the second channel, the music channel, and the VOD channel are of course all down below in the description. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Pop-Tart out.